Hello. That's my cat. Well, it's not exactly my cat, but it's my cat. He likes to eat my life. So, I'm Kalia. And I wanted to share my story. So I watched this video about this girl explaining why she stopped smoking weed because she had this terrible experience. And it was from like 3 years ago, and when I saw the title, I was just like, so I clicked on it, I started watching it, and soon I realized it was the same experiences that I had, well, very similar experiences, and it's very traumatic. I mean, a lot of people, no one talks about the bad symptoms or the bad side effects you can have from weed. It doesn't work with everybody, but no one talks about it. And I just want to share my story because I thought that like it was rare. I thought that I was going insane. I thought this had happened to nobody. And when I found this video, it made me feel so much better. Now in her video, my cat keeps trying to eat my lights. In her video, she talked just a lot about like derealization, which is like disassociating. And I'm gonna go into all the details of my experience because it's a lot. And when I tried to explain it to people, I just felt like they thought I was gonna think that they were gonna think I was crazy, and just all of that. I'm 16. The first time I smoked weed, I was 13. I've never been like a stoner, but the first time I smoked, it was with my best friend. So I was 13, nothing bad happened, we just had a good time. And I would just, smoke like on occasion with her when I like came to her house, or, just whenever we were together. So my bad experience was like 2 months ago or something, and I was with my best friend, the same best friend, and my boyfriend, who are both way more experienced with weed than I am. And so I had just moved, I had just moved, and my best friend had came to see me, and so we got together. My boyfriend came along, and we were in the car with my best friend's mom, and we were just gonna go to the mall. So we're in the car, and she pulls out these edibles, these weed edibles, and I had never taken any edibles before, didn't know anything about them. I just thought it was weed that you just ate, so they were probably like this big, and we all each took one. They were pretty gross, and my boyfriend, he says to my best friend, and he's like, she should have only took half, like she's never taken edibles before. And I was like, it's probably fine. Which, yeah, they were right, I should have only taken half, because they're pretty big gummies. So let's see, we get to the mall, and we're just like walking around. Didn't really feel anything. I was high, but like I wasn't like super, like, stoned out of my mind. I was just, like, normal high. And it was kind of a small mall, so it was me, my best friend, my boyfriend, and my best friend's mom's boyfriend. So we walked through, like, the mall, and it was small, so we're like, well, what should we do? And so we figured, well, let's just, like, go to the parking lot and finish the rest of the joint that they had or whatever. So we get out to the parking lot, and we're just standing there. I was already high enough, so I didn't want to smoke anymore. Plus, they smoke differently, like, they're, like, stoners, and I'm just, like, whenever, you know, on occasion or whatever. So they're smoking, and we, like, finally, like, sit down, like, in this parking lot, and a few minutes goes by, they're just smoking, you know, doing whatever. And so I'm sitting in the middle of them, obviously, you know, because, yeah, a little time goes by, and all of a sudden, like, something just didn't feel right, and it just, like, all hit me, and I was super fucking high. Excuse my language, but I was super fucking high, and I just, like, I'd look up, and my heart started beating, like, really fast, and I was like, what's happening? And I, like, look at my boyfriend, and I look at my best friend, and they kind of just look at me like, what? And I couldn't speak. I was like, what is happening? Why can't I speak? Why is my heart beating so fast? And so that obviously gave me anxiety. I've had anxiety, you know, throughout my life. It's never been, like, super intense, but I've dealt with it before. But feeling this was just completely, like, out of this world, more intense than I've ever experienced. So as I'm, like, looking around, I start to get more anxiety. My heart starts beating more and more fast, and I look at my boyfriend, and he knows I've had anxiety before. I've had anxiety attacks, which I've never had a panic attack, which to me, I never thought there was a really big difference, but after this experience, I know that there is quite a difference. So I've had anxiety attacks, and he knows I have, and he kind of, like, saw that I wasn't having a good time. He, like, could tell that I had some anxiety, but I couldn't speak. Like, I had so much anxiety that I just couldn't form words. And in my head, I could still hear my heart beating super fast, and I'm, like, looking at my boyfriend, and he's like, he's telling me, he's like, everything's okay, and I just keep looking at him, and I'm, like, looking back and forth from both the two of them, trying to, like, form words that, like, I'm not okay, and that they didn't understand what was happening. And they did understand. They knew that I was having anxiety, but in my head, I was like, no, they can't. They don't hear my heart. Like, they don't hear what's actually happening, and I couldn't tell them what was happening. And so when this is going on, I start thinking, whoa, wait, my heart should not be going this fast. And I felt like I couldn't breathe, but after this happened, my boyfriend told me, no, you were breathing, like, actually fine. But in my head, I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so hearing my heart like that, I was like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna, and in my head, I could just picture, like, oh, this is the day she died, and I could picture, like, the ambulances, like, just showing up to the place where I just dropped dead because I died from a heart attack. But she gave me just so much more anxiety, and I was like, no, we have to do something. Like, this can't be it. This can't be happening. Like, not now. It's so bad. So my boyfriend, he was like, no, you just gotta breathe. It's only gonna get better if you keep breathing. And I was just having such a hard time breathing, and he was like, okay, just like put your hands above your head, you know, just like breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose. And in my head, I was like, this is kind of when I started feeling the derealization, depersonalization, where I could see myself outside of my body, and looking at myself, I look so stupid, just like with my hands above my head and just like trying to breathe. And I was just like, no, that's not working, because I felt stupid, and I felt like it wasn't working, and that it was just hopeless, and that was just the end. That was nothing you can do, and which caused me more panic, you know. It was a whole cycle. And so a little bit of that goes by, and my friend, she didn't know what to do. She was also very high, but she knew what was happening. She didn't know how to help me. So a little time goes by, and I finally I stand up, and I go, I need water. And that is when I was like, well, I can't breathe. And I was, and to paint a picture in your mind, we're still in this parking lot. It was cold. I had a sweatshirt, but it was cold, and it was like there was traffic. Like we were like outside, and like there was traffic just like everywhere, and it was not a good setting for anxiety, to be like outside in the cold. And anyway, so I stand up, and I'm like, I need water, because at this point I was thinking in my head that I'm gonna die of dehydration. If I don't get water, I'm going to die of dehydration if I do not get water in me, like, now. And so everybody stands up, and my boyfriend goes, okay, we'll get you water. And so my best friend and her mom's boyfriend, they start walking, and they go to a Target or like a restaurant to get me some water. And sorry, I thought my phone died. But so let me think. Yeah, so they went to go get me water, and I honestly can't remember some parts, but I remember just like walking around, and I was just like freaking out, and I'm like thinking in my head that like this is it, like I'm gonna die, like, you know. And there would be, well, I think we were kind of like out in the open, and some people, my friend told me that some people were like driving by as I was like sitting there kind of freaking out, and people would like stop in their car and like look at me and be like, are they okay, like, you know. And in my head I would see the people, and I'm like, no, please don't go away, like I need you to get help, because I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't speak. And so I was hoping that someone would just be like, are you okay? And that way I could be like, no, please just like call somebody. But so my best friend left, and it was just me and my boyfriend, and we were kind of walking around, and this is where things took a turn, where I was just way more high than I was before, and I was at the max level of freaking the fuck out. Okay, it's gonna be kind of hard to explain, but I remember thinking I needed water and picturing myself as this deteriorating skeleton that needed water, because I thought I was going to die of dehydration. I thought the longer I am with, like I needed water, so I was just deteriorating away, and my mouth was just like just deteriorating because I had no water. Like I was just like gasping for air, like I was just like I needed water. And oh, it's so just traumatic, because I thought, oh, this is what happens when you die, this is it. And my boyfriend, he was just like kind of talking to me, like trying to calm me down, but I honestly don't remember like how loud I was, but I do remember just like, I don't know if I was this loud, but in my head I remember just like screaming, I need water, like screaming. I don't know how loud I was in actuality, but I just remember like just screaming and feeling like because he just kept talking normal, probably because he was trying to calm the situation down and not cause it, attention. But when he would do that, I felt like, oh, well, he can't hear me, and that's why I kept screaming, like, you need to hear me, because I'm going to die if you don't help me. So I guess I gotten louder, because he was like, okay, we're gonna go around this building, because I was probably really fucking loud and we were right in front of traffic. So let's see. Oh, okay. And so at that point, I couldn't see my hands. I felt like just this brain just like floating in the air, and I remember feeling like I was disappearing, like just disappearing. And because the feeling of like my mouth like disintegrating because I needed water was the feeling of like I was disappearing. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just the way I can describe it. So I remember like looking at my feet and looking at my hands and just not seeing anything. Like I was just gone. I wasn't there. But I was still here, but I wasn't here. Like, and the part where I didn't see my hands and feet was, I don't even know how to explain it, because in my head I was like so high and like freaking out that I felt like I was just like, my mind was just like slowly going away, and that's how I thought I was gonna die. I was just gonna slowly just disappear. So I couldn't see anything, and I remember my boyfriend like picking me up, probably because I wasn't like, I was being loud, so he wanted to bring me like behind this building or something. I could be wrong on that, but it's just what I remember. And I remember him like picking me up, and I like having my arms like around his neck, and I just like couldn't see my arms. And then I remember like looking at the reflection of the side of the building that we were walking by, and I couldn't see myself. I was like, I'm not there. I'm not here. Where the fuck am I? Am I real? Like, I'm obviously dying, but was my entire existence even real? Like, what the fuck is happening? And then at this point, I don't know if I like fell or what happened, but then I remember being on the grass. Like, after he picked me up, then I was on the grass. I must have just like stood up from him like holding me, and then just like went on the ground. And I remember like being on my back and just screaming, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, like just screaming at the top of my lungs. And my boyfriend was like standing over me, like, you shut the fuck up, like you can't, like, he was on probation, and he didn't want the cops to show up because he was high, so that obviously couldn't happen. And so he was trying to like calm me the fuck down before any attention got drawn, because that was the last thing that could happen, is the cops show up. But that's what I remember. I was like screaming that I was dying because I thought that was it. By the way, I'm sick. That's why my voice sounds like this. So, yeah. So anyway, after that, I remember we were still waiting for the water. We were sitting, and we were just like talking, and at this point I was like more calm, but I had no idea what was going on. I was like, why are we sitting here? Why am I here? Where am I? Like, what are we doing? How, like, what did I do this morning? What am I, you know? And so we were sitting there just talking, and I remember like things just not feeling real, like, at all. And I just totally disoriented. And then I remember they finally get back with the water. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. This was at the beginning when I started to freak out. It almost felt like an acid trip and this is when I thought I was having a heart attack at the beginning, because for some reason I thought, is that what happens when people have heart attacks? Like, I thought my boyfriend was talking to me, trying to like get me to realize that I was having a heart attack, because in my mind I was like, wait, do I just need to like know that I'm having a heart attack, and then that's how you survive a heart attack? And so what I was seeing was him just like talking to me and like just being like kind of normal and trying to just like calm me down. But in my head I'm like, no, wait, things aren't right. So maybe this is his way of like trying to help me survive this. And it was like he knew what was happening, and he knew what to do to like get like make me survive. So basically it was, I don't even know if I want to describe this because it just sounds so crazy, but he would speak and be like, it would be on like the side of my head, and then he would be like in front of me, and then he'd be like on the side of me, and just like each spot he would be like saying something different, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, because in my head I was like, okay, he knows what to do, he knows how to like, this is my only chance of surviving. So I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll try that. And you know, so that was that part. That was at the beginning when I thought I was having a heart attack. So back to the part that I was at when we were waiting for the water. They finally get there, and we're sitting on the ground, and my best friend's mom had showed back up, because the reason we were there is because she had a work thing. So they show up. I don't even remember what happened to the water. Like, I don't remember getting any water. Well, I do, just not then. Like, I don't know what happened there. But I remember just sitting on the ground, and then they told me to like get in the car. And so I like look at the car. The car door was open, and I was sitting on the ground. And I look at the car, and I get up to get in the car, and everything just felt like it was in like chunks of time. Like I couldn't distinguish each one, and my muscles just felt so like jerky that I couldn't distinguish which part of time I was in. And this all was just like happening like in my head as it was happening. Like I was thinking this to myself, and I like couldn't stop it. And that's why it was like so traumatic, because I don't know, but I get in the car, and we go to this restaurant to get water, and I don't know what happened there. It's just what I remember. We go to this restaurant, and they ask for water, and my boyfriend and my best friend tell her mom, like, what was going on, that I was having, like, a really bad trip, and that I had, like, anxiety and just, like, all this. And so we sit there for probably, like, I get my water, we sit down in the booth, and I was sitting next to my boyfriend, and my boyfriend goes, like, do you need to throw up? And I'm like, no. And, like, a minute or something goes by, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna throw up. So we all stand up, my boyfriend and my best friend, we all stand up, and we just, like, run to the bathroom. I thought I was gonna throw up on the floor. And we get to the bathroom, and only my best friend came in with me, because it was probably the woman's bathroom or something. It was actually like anybody can use bathroom, or whatever you call it. But my best friend was in there, and I puked on the floor, but I got to the toilet, and I just remember, like, having my entire head in the toilet. Well, this is what my friend told me, like, my entire head was in the toilet. And I remember, like, she turned on the faucet, which was so people, like, couldn't hear me throwing up. But oh, I forgot to say this. When we went to go to the bathroom, because I said I had to throw up, I knew I had to throw up. The second we, like, all got up, it was, like, in my brain, it was like, oh, okay, they finally know what's happening, and they know what to do to like, help me live. They know what to do. Like, they've seen this before. They've heard about it, like, in smoking weed or something. Like, this is what was happening in my head. This is my thought process. And we're running to the bathroom, and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Like, it's gonna be over. They're gonna save me. Like, I'm not gonna die. And I had my head in the toilet, and I heard the faucet running, and so I thought my friend had left, and I thought, like, oh, this is, like, this is what they have to do. Like, they have to leave me alone in here. They have to turn on the water. I have to be in the toilet. The water has to be on, and they have to leave. And this is my, like, only chance of surviving. So I don't know if she actually left, but I remember I was throwing up or whatever I was doing, but I had my head in the toilet, and then that's when I like started hearing voices, and I was, like, seeing this ghost telling me that I was gonna die, and that you're gonna just be a spirit for the rest of your life. And so when I was in the toilet, I felt like I could see inside of my brain, and, like, all the muscles, and like it looked white. Like, I saw white and, like, black veins. Like, that's what I saw in the toilet. And so then when I would, like, move or speak, I felt like all of the muscles in my body would just, like, tighten up when I would try and move or speak. And the only time it like, didn't hurt was when I, like, kept still. And it was just, I just kept thinking in my head, like, this is it. Like, I just could not believe it. I was in emotional agony, because I could not accept the fact that I was gonna die. I could not, like, so then eventually my boyfriend and my best friend, they were in the bathroom with me. I was done throwing up, and they actually left it on the floor, which was really gross. But we then left, I think, like, the restaurant, and I also remember, like, leaving the restaurant, and there would be times where I would feel like I was just, like, crying inside because I knew that I was going to die, and I just kept thinking of my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm never gonna see him again. And that's, like, one of the, obviously, for me, but then because I thought I was never gonna see him again, that I, like, was just in such a panic. And so there would be times where I would be in just such a panic, and then for like a split second everything would like feel normal again. I'd feel like myself, and then as fast as it came, all of a sudden it would all come back, and I would be like, am I real? What is happening? And then when I started to feel that again, like every 20 seconds, I would just be like, nope, this is it, you're gonna die. Like, whatever you felt before, even though you just felt normal, like, it was wrong. Because when I felt normal for a split second, I was like, okay, it's over. You can breathe. You can know that you're fine. And then the second it started again, it was just like absolute, like, just weeping inside. Like, no. And so I remember being in the car, and just like looking out the window, and I remember we were just like driving around the parking lot in slow-mo. We just like kept driving around the parking lot, and we just kept looping just around and around again. And I'm like, we're staying here. Like, I also remember before we got to the restaurant and we were outside and I was like kind of hugging my boyfriend, that when I like needed water, I put my tongue inside his mouth because I like needed water. So I think that kind of sums up a lot of what I felt. The worst part was when I felt like I was like disappearing and like just disintegrating and like blowing away in the air, and it's so terrible, like, feeling of just dead set on death, like, and there's nothing you can do about it. So after that, I was just so scared that it was gonna happen again. Like, I remember the same night I wasn't high anymore, and I had went to sleep at my sister's. It was the same night it had happened, and I was like telling my sister everything that happened, and I was like, I don't know what happened. It wasn't real. Like, I thought something that came to my head was like an aneurysm, when your like brain explodes and you just die, which I don't know if that's what it is. I think it's like something of the brain, but I told her that, and I was like, no, I think we need to call the hospital. Like, I think something happened and I'm going to die in my sleep tonight. Which I wasn't high anymore. I was still like processing everything, and I didn't know what the fuck happened. So I made her sleep in the same room with me because I was too scared to sleep alone. And then I don't think I felt anything like right away after my experience, but it must have been like a few days to a week later when I started feeling numbness and tingliness, which when I had the experience when I was high, it wasn't so much tingliness, but like numbness and not being able to like not feeling like I was there. So later on, when I felt this, it gave me just tons of anxiety, because I was like, is it happening again? Like, am I really going to die? So I just remember like having blankets over me. It would be like late at night, I'd have a blanket over me.
There he is.
The cat?
Yeah, this cat. There he's trying to go nappy.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Anyways, so what I was saying is I would have a blanket over me, and I like wouldn't be able to feel my hands. It would feel like my fingers, like as I would like move my hand underneath the blanket, it felt like my fingers were like just like, I don't even know. So I remember just trying to sleep, and like whenever I would move, my body would just be numb, and like it was a whole thing of like, I don't know. And the other thing was, during my experience, I couldn't like feel my face, because like I said, like my mouth was just like gone. And so it was kind of that depersonalization, derealization, I'm not sure which one it classifies in, but of like seeing out of your eyes and what's in front of you, but not being physically here, disassociated. So times when I had anxiety, when I would think about my experience, I'd be like, okay, my face is gone again. And it was in my head where like I couldn't feel my face, and in my head I'd be like, it's gone again. And it sounds so crazy, but yeah. So I would try to sleep at night, and I told my sister, my other sister, what had happened. She had already known, and I had told her about the tingling. And one thing I forgot to mention, the day I took the edible, the day I had the experience, was the first day I started my anxiety med. So sorry this is like really jumpy, but when we were in the car, I'm gonna jump back to my experience. My best friend's mom had gotten me charcoal pills, which is supposed to like take it out of your system, which those did help. But I kept saying like, so you know what's happening, like I'm not gonna die. And she's like, oh yeah, which I now realize she did not know. She did not know exactly what was happening. And so I kept saying like, so I'm okay, I'm not gonna die, like I'm fine. And I kept like asking that because I was genuinely like concerned. And they were just like, no, you're fine, like you're good. And I remember thinking like asking my best friend's mom, like, oh, so you know what's happening. And in my head it was like, oh, the weed and your anxiety med like mixed, so it like became poison, and these charcoal pills is what's gonna like help you. It's the only way you'll be able to live. So back to what I was saying, I was terrified to keep taking my anxiety meds, because that was the first day I had started taking them, and I had never been on any anxiety meds before, and that was the first day I took them. So after that experience, I was like, what? Like, the weed is still in my system. What if I keep taking these pills and it like makes me have, like, it makes me have more panic attacks? Like, what if that's the reason? So I was terrified of taking them. So I didn't. Like, I couldn't, there was nothing that could bring me to take those. I was completely terrified. So I kept having experiences, just like just really scary things happen. I remember I was sleeping on the couch, and I couldn't sleep. I had woke up in the middle of the night, and the feeling I had was where you wake up super fast, and like all of these things just rush to your brain, and it's like intensely overwhelming and scary, all of these thoughts, like the second you wake up. And it's there for like 2 seconds, but it's just so intensely just like overwhelming and like there, just like that it sends me in a state of like panic. And so I would stand up just like out of my bed, and I would be like, where's my feet? I can't feel, where am I? So then I remember sleeping on the couch, and I couldn't fall asleep, and then I think I had woken up in the middle of the night again, and just tons of anxiety. And then actually my sister had given me these, or had set out these anxiety meds that like just help with anxiety, and they were in the bathroom when I had woken up, and I went to the bathroom and I saw them sitting there, and I was like, oh, she left them out in case I woke up in the middle of the night and had anxiety, which she didn't. They were just there. And the night before, when I had anxiety, they were gonna give them to me, and we were just like figuring out if like I could take them because of the other anxiety meds that I had taken or something. And they're like, oh no, we're not going to because of something. So that same night when I saw them sitting there on the counter, okay, so the way I can describe it is when you're having anxiety like that, your brain is just like burrowing back into your brain, and the deeper you go is the more like you're just disappearing from your mind, and you're just like going insane, and you like can't process your thoughts. And so when I saw them sitting there, I was like, oh great, I'll take these. And so I took one, and then like instantly I looked at it and I was like, fuck, these are the same meds from before that I wasn't supposed to take. So that just caused me so much anxiety. And so I still had those charcoal pills, so I took a charcoal pill, and I was like, I have to take this charcoal pill. I was not supposed to take that anxiety med. It's gonna fuck me up. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna do something. Which I don't know. So yeah, just it's just so crazy because I don't know how to explain a lot of it. And then when I realized that so many other people have had these experiences, that it's just crazy that no one talks about it. And like, I can't even tell you how many times I would just be like on Google, like looking at my symptoms from the high that I had, the experience, the panic, the feeling of dying, the heart attack, like the feeling of disappearing, and just looking up like every possible symptom, and like everything I could find just didn't quite describe what I felt. And so it was just like this endless cycle of just like trying to figure out what it was, like just feeling like hopeless that it only happened to me, and that eventually it was just gonna come back and just destroy my life. Or like, it was terrifying what I felt, and I was terrified of feeling those things, because I didn't want to think about those things. Nobody wants to. So yeah, I decided to explain my experience, because nobody talks about this. Yeah, so, and if I could have found this video sooner, it would have saved me a lot, the video that I watched, which made me want to record this. So I'm still processing. I'm mostly through it, but of course there's like still times where it just all comes back, because after it happened, I would think about it like every night before I fell asleep, and it would keep me up and just give me so much anxiety, where I would think about it, and like everything would remind me of it, and it would just like bring me back. Like, just so traumatic. So yeah, that's my story. That's about everything. So